Welcome to Forever Unbreakable. This is the official Ironman episode. So we are, T-minus 12 hours and 15 minutes to the swim start. So we'll start with Daniel here, who is the newest swimmer. Tell us how you feel after today's open water practice. Mind you, I'll let Daniel describe kind of what it looked like from the Monona Terrace as we walk down to the water.
2-foot whitecap waves. Yeah, it was pretty intense out there today, but it was, all in all, you just got to do it. So there's no turning back now. But yeah, it was good. It was tough. Hopefully it'll be a little calmer tomorrow and we can get through it a lot easier than it was today.
Yeah. So now we're going to ask, what we'll do is we'll kind of go around with each person, and yes, everybody, we're passing microphones because it's just a little bit better quality that way with having 4 people in the podcast tonight. But Phil, talk a little bit about your swim experience this morning in the open water, having built some confidence in your swimming, because now in a pool you're definitely swimming faster than me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not what I was hoping for. Usually the day before you're really looking for a confidence booster kind of conditions, what you're going to be in, and hoping that it'll be nice and you can really get in there and see what you're going to do and see how tomorrow's what to expect. And that was not how today went. It was definitely a little eye-opener today, so just got to be a little bit more with it tomorrow and prepared and mentally ready to go.
Yeah, so and now my dad, who's been swimming for 3 years now, so you hired a coach. Shout out to Dave. Dave has brought you a long ways from not even thinking you would finish a swim to to Ironman. So talk about how you're feeling going into tomorrow's morning swim.
I felt pretty good until I went and swam a little while ago.
Yeah, get a little closer.
and now I'm not so sure, but we'll try it. We're gonna make it to the finish one way or another. So it should be good. I never swam in waves that big before, so we'll see.
Yeah, today was and I'd call bullshit on that because Door County had bigger waves.
Yeah, but I got to swim 4,000, not 400.
Yeah. So when we did Door County, that was last year?
Last year.
Last year when we did Door County, the swim was reduced from the 1.2 miles down to 400 meters, really 500 meters. And this year they've given the go ahead for the full 2.4 mile swim. So give the mic back to Phil once. I want Phil lives down here in Madison right now for another couple of weeks, and talk about the storm that came through and how it almost cost us the swim, and how you felt after Door County last year when you didn't get a full half Ironman done. Because you really did 70 miles instead of 70.3 or whatever.
Yeah.
It was 69 point something. So talk about the nerves going in after seeing the storm that you actually got to see come through.
Well, I mean, it was a straight hurricane. I remember being outside and just sideways winds and just the rain just never stopped. Just heavy downpouring for it was almost a day and a half, 2 days. But yeah, I mean, after Door County, it was definitely redemption time. I mean, and I did get that already in my other half Ironman, but this is home turf now, so it's definitely mean more to get this one done and in front of family and friends and everything.
So talk about that half Ironman and what you've changed going into this one, because your last half Ironman in Hawaii, you got mile 7 of the run and everything, the wheels fell off?
No, it wasn't even. It was mile 2.5, 3, just trying new nutrition that was suggested by a friend, and
was I that friend?
It just fell up. No, it was. He's got 3 very important initials that rhyme with KFN.
Oh.
But I mean, it works for him, and you got to try it. And that race was just a practice for today. So I mean, and conditions were pretty rough. It was a very hot day. They say it was over 100 degrees on the actual run course. But I mean, that was great though. Everything mistake you learn, you got to learn from your mistakes and move on and get the next goal. And I had no problem with making that mistake that day.
Yeah. So do you feel like your nutrition is dialed in now for Ironman going in? What's your
I felt like my nutrition was dialed in that day.
what's your early feeling going into tomorrow, nerves, nutrition wise? Because what I tell people all the time is there's 4 principles or disciplines to Ironman. It's the swim, the bike, and the run that everybody knows of. And the one that most people miss is nutrition. And that's what's haunted me my last 2 Ironmans, and I'm doing a whole different nutrition this time, and it will likely haunt me again.
Ooh. Yeah, I kind of went back to the older nutrition that I had for like the one I ran for last half marathon or a half Ironman in Door County, which worked really well for me. I didn't blow up at all and almost made the entire run. I kind of went back to that, modified a little bit, and I think I'm going to have some good results tomorrow.
Good. All right, hand it back to Daniel here. We'll ask Daniel a couple questions, and then we'll kick it back over to my dad. So, Daniel, going into this year, and we talked about this in the first podcast that we did with you, you signed up for an Ironman not really knowing what an Ironman was, and you showed up to the pool that first day with no goggles, in board shorts, like no idea what a swim, how to even swim, and you're like, I can swim, and I looked at you and I was like, you've never swam before, and so you've now put in the hard work to be here, tomorrow morning and toe that start line. Like, talk about the building of confidence for you from going from not being able to bike well, not being able to run well, and not being able to swim well to getting here today. Talk about that journey and the things you did to build the confidence.
Yeah. So when I first originally signed up earlier in the year, like you said, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into other than it was swim, biking, and running. Then, I started training, and the swimming was funny the first day at the pool. I mean, I couldn't swim for nothing. But we kept at it and kept working at it, and them early mornings at the pool, meeting you and, going through it paid off and helped build confidence. Slowly but surely it got better. A couple weeks ago, I did a 2.5 mile swim down here with Al and Phil here, and waters were much calmer then. And that was
same body of water.
Yeah, body of water.
So you know how much a single body of water can change and change your whole day, because if you have a bad swim, heart rate's high.
Yep.
Just it leads into a bad bike and into a bad run.
Yeah. So throughout the year, or throughout the summer here, I did the Cellcom Marathon. That was a huge confidence booster. I managed to do my first marathon in 4 hours and 19 minutes. So that was great. That was the first one I ever ran.
Going to replicate that tomorrow?
Probably
4:19 marathon?
Probably not. Could only dream. Did that. That felt good. I feel good about the running. I did a little bit of running after that throughout the year, but not much. I really hate running. Biking, I don't mind. I did a lot of biking this year. Confident booster there was the Horrible Hilly Hundreds. That was, almost 100 degrees out and 80%.
I think that was over 100 degrees out.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
With like 80% humidity. And that was, 90 some miles. And completing that felt really good. I stuck with it, and, a couple times I wanted to give up, but I was like, I got to see what I got. So, managed to finish it and felt amazing after, so I know what I'm looking forward to completing this.
Yeah, it's just like the morning swims, right? What time did I tell you? The first time I told you to meet me at the pool, what time did I say we were meeting?
3:45.
Yeah, 3:45 a.m. And Daniel's like, I don't get up that early in the morning. And what I learned about Daniel through this process was that I got to tell him 3:30 so that he's there only 5 minutes late instead of, 20 minutes late.
Yeah, always 15 minutes behind. Opposite of Lombardi's theory.
Yeah. We'll get you there as long as you're there on time tomorrow to start the race.
Yeah. So, the training throughout the summer, with the Horrible Hilly got me my, and then I did the Baker Century ride for the 100 miles. That helped a lot too. And just, grinding it out with you and Bobby and Bruce and everybody like that, that really helped throughout the year. So just putting everything together,
It's that support system, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. You guys are great, man. It confidence and just, always being there and everybody meeting each other, it helps build it a lot. So
yeah, it absolutely does, man. It's huge. You got to get out and do the miles yourself, because you got to get out and log the miles. But it's a lot easier when you do it in a group setting.
For sure.
And Phil trained this whole year by himself, having lived in Hawaii and then back here. So
yeah, that's mad props, because sometimes it's hard to get up in the morning if you ain't got somebody to meet, and it's just nobody's there but you.
Yeah, holding yourself accountable instead of others holding you accountable.
For sure.
So that's huge. All right, pass her off to my dad here. We're going to talk about his favorite part of Ironman, the hills. So my dad is the only man that I've ever found who can manage to bike 50 miles without going over the same road twice and have less than 100 feet of elevation on his watch. Like, where do you find roads this flat? So talk about the transition to having to bike up and down hills in Madison, where you got your first taste at Horribly Hilly.
Yep. So I had to learn how to bike hills, because I don't ever ride hills. don't like hills. So we did horrible hilly. Ended up doing 70 miles. It was horrible. So, and then I did a lot of Scrays Hill riding and a lot of hills, and went and rode the course a couple times with Phil. So we did a couple training rides. Daniel went on one of them, so we did ride the loop a couple times. So I know what to expect tomorrow. So should all be good. Elevation is going to be a problem, but we'll make it through the bike part.
So how do you feel about the run? Because you've done how many marathons now?
I don't know, 7, 8.
Yeah, so more than you need to, because I think this is Phil's first full marathon.
Technically, it all depends on what you consider the baton. It depends on what you consider the baton.
Yeah, baton is definitely a full marathon. So you did a full marathon, but baton is done with a pack on, at a walk-run pace, kind of leisurely. Like it's not leisurely, but we're not out, trying to PR or something. Like it's a survival and take in the environment and all of that stuff. So this being Phil's first full marathon, where he's going to attempt to run the entire way. And how many of you ran the entire way before you had to walk?
My last 3 or 4 I ran the whole entire way.
Yeah.
So this one I'm thinking with being Ironman and getting off the bike, I'm hoping to run at least half, hoping to just have to walk the hills.
Yeah. Which is basically the whole course.
Well, I can run the downhills.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's crazy going in. I'm going to pass it around one more time here for everybody to say what they want about going into tomorrow, how they feel, and how like becoming unbreakable to this point has led them to the starting an Ironman. So, and when I tell people starting an Ironman, it's not starting the Ironman race. It's starting the journey that that this is going to require. So when I did my first Ironman, my dad told me there's no way he would ever do an Ironman. I did my second one, and he said, well, maybe I'll do one of these at some point. And now he's here today, but it's a journey. He started that with a sprint triathlon and moved to the Ironman distance, got swim coaching and assistance with the bike and ran more miles and went down that journey. So Ironman doesn't start, at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is now basically exactly 12 hours away. It started months ago or years ago for some of us. So talk about what you feel like right now going into tomorrow morning and that journey, like what it was like and how you feel going into tomorrow.
First going into tomorrow right now, pretty nervous. I shouldn't say worried about it, but the swim after today was a little scary, but I think I should be able to make that. At the wind is going to be down a little bit tomorrow. So
people understand there's a time cutoff on the swim. You only have how much time to complete the swim?
2 hours and 20 minutes to finish the swim.
Yeah, which Jeff Lamer is one of our good friends that we train with a lot. He on the practice swim only made it by 3 minutes. So anybody in Phil can tell you, because he's numerous times now swam, far right or far left of the buoys and had to swim an extra couple hundred meters because his spotting wasn't on that day. So anybody can have a bad swim. So as a first time Ironman athlete and wanting that achievement, like it's nerve wracking getting to the start line.
Yeah, it's going to be a nerve wracking thing for the swim because it's crowded for one thing. A lot of people swimming.
Yeah, 2,300 people in the water at the same time.
So, but I mean, my practice swim was good. I was right on all the buoys and didn't swim out of my way at all, I don't think.
Yeah.
And when I get on the bike, hopefully that'll go good. I mean, my biggest fear is having something go wrong with the bike.
Yeah, because that's what happened to Jeff last year. He had a catastrophic bike issues. He had like 3 different bike issues, and one was eventually his chain went through his carbon fiber frame, causing his bike to be completely disabled.
And that just, you really can't control. That just, if it happens, it happens. But in the run, once I get to the run part, hopefully that'll go good and we should finish. I mean, I did the training up till now, so.
Yeah, you've trained hard. You've earned it.
Lots and lots of hours of training. Hours of swimming, lots of Corey swims.
Yeah. I mean, every day. At one point, you were swimming 8-9 times a week.
Yeah,
so
I was swimming twice a day for a while to get that down.
Yeah. And that's the work. It's all in how bad you want to achieve something. And if you want it bad enough, you'll put in the hard work. And these 3 guys are, as well as the other 2,300 athletes that are going to toe that start line tomorrow are all examples of that. So Phil, talk about how you feel going into your first Ironman tomorrow, and the training and everything leading up to it, the whole journey.
I really don't feel nervous at all. I feel like I put way too much work in to really be nervous. I just have worked on everything, all my weaknesses. My swim is greatly improved. My run is right where it should be, minus my slight calf injury. But really not nervous. I just want to get working. I just want to get out there and get started and finish this, because it's just something you want really, really bad, and just ready to do the work to accomplish it.
All right, Daniel, you're up.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I'm nervous as hell. I feel like I could have did a lot more training, but I did what I did and did as much as I could with the time that I had in the short period of time of deciding to do it and get after it. I do feel confident with swimming the 2.5 miles last week, and then I've done the marathon, and I've done over 100 miles before. It's just combining all three of them in one day. That's going to be difficult, but my biggest thing is if I can't finish, I don't want it from happening from a bike issue or anything like that, or drowning.
Or being dead.
Yeah. I want to know if I physically can't or mentally can't, and then I'll know that I need to go back to the drawing board and go back at it. Because let's be real, if I can't finish tomorrow, I'm going after it again. There's no doubt about it. But I'm set in my mind that I'm going to finish. That's my mindset, and I'm confident that I'm going to finish. I'm nervous, but who wouldn't be nervous? I mean, this is huge,
Yeah, exactly. It's my third Ironman, and I'm nervous because anything can happen at Ironman. Like you swim with 2,300 people in the water, so you're gonna get kicked in the face, you're gonna get ran over and trampled in the water, and people have died during the swim. And then you get on the bike, and I mean, some of those corners at the bottom of the Madison Hills are hairpin corners that there's a corner where they have an ambulance parked at the bottom every year because people go straight off the road and into trees. And it's a part of Ironman, and it's also a part of the excitement is the being nervous and having your heart rate be at 130, 140 before you get in the water. And I use the same coach that my dad does for swimming, and he's like, you got to keep your heart rate under 120. And I'm like, just standing there waiting to get in the water, my heart rate's at 140.
For sure.
Like, I'm amped up,
Yeah.
So it's great to be nervous, and it's exciting. I'm excited for all of you guys. I'm excited for everybody who's doing Ironman this year. And we're going to come back after the race with some beers, and we're going to give you guys a little recap of how the race went for each one of us and stuff like that. And then we'll probably have another follow-up podcast with each one of these guys about their continued journey and things like that. So tomorrow, enjoy it, take it all in, and give it everything you got. So if you guys don't have anything else before tomorrow, we'll sign off with that, and we'll wait until tomorrow. All right, everybody, we will see you in a few seconds, or in our case, about 36 hours from now. All right, welcome back to the second part. We did not do it. We did not do it the night of. This is now the morning after, about 8 a.m. So 8 hours after they closed the course, about 9.5 since the last person finished. And we're back here in the hotel, so we'll pull that mic off of the thing here, and we'll start going around the horn here. We'll start with Phil, who had a monster bike that turned into a great race. But talk about that, because your plan was to do 18.5 on the bike.
Well, I don't know. I kind of went in with, I didn't want to say what I was going after. I just wanted to go in and do my best. If I said I was going to go out and try and push 22, then I would have had some major catastrophe, and it would have ruined my race. So I mean, that was pretty much my plan the whole time, was go out and put down big power and do my best. And luckily, everything went fantastic, and I really put down a great bike time. I was super happy.
Yeah, dude, you crushed the bike. So going into the run, you had to feel good.
I passed every single person out there. Every fancy $20,000 bike, I made them eat my dust.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
I mean, you ended up averaging 20.5 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's only because I slowed down on the second loop. I was at like 21.5, almost 22 for the first half.
Yeah, and that was 88th overall on the bike, I think, or 81st or something.
I got to look at the numbers.
Out of 2,100 people is what the app shows, having had started the race. So to be, that's in like the top 5% bike.
Yeah.
So tremendous bike, and then you're able to put together a pretty good marathon.
Yeah, the run was okay.
But talk about how what it was like during the run. Did you hitting the walls and the tough spots that happened during that?
I mean, my run is definitely my weakest. It's always has been, and like I've never ran a full marathon, so I mean, I kind of went into it just walking and just kind of pushing through as hard as I can, and I was still happy with the overall. I mean, I can't complain how well it turned out being.
Yeah, no, you killed it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Daniel on. Talk about your race day. Doing better in the water than you expected, and then
Yeah, absolutely.
and then getting out on the bike and with the wind and stuff. Talk about how tough the bike course was for you.
The bike course, I kind of went hard on my first loop and then went a little easy on my second loop. So I should have probably did it opposite, but that's all right. I felt good. I felt good overall. A little bit of headwind in there, but pre-riding that loop let you know what you got to look forward to, what's coming up, what's next. So I felt much better this time than I did about 2-3 weeks ago when I rode the loop because I really wasn't prepared then. So it was good, man. The bike ride was real good. The swim was even better for me. I did 126, I think.
Yeah. No, you were right around 126.
Yeah, that felt really good, banked some time there. So did that and then got to the marathon. It was great to get off that bike, though, at that point. But the first couple miles, I was like, I tried running. I was like, ooh, no, not happening yet. So I just kind of fast walked, let my muscles kind of stretch out, and then jogged a little here and there. So I did the opposite of my bike. So my bike, I went hard on my first loop, easy on my second. And with the marathon, I went easy on the first and hard on the second. So it felt good.
Yeah, and that was the big thing that you said you wish you would have done differently on the bike.
Yeah.
Was to go easy out the gate and then push it at the end.
Yeah, now I think of that, but I think while I was biking, I told myself go hard in the beginning and easy in the second half of the bike so that I was good enough to go on the run.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a strategy, but it's a mind game, man. You play mind games with yourself the whole day.
Dude, it's amazing the strategies that you go through in your head.
Yeah.
I myself had a horrible race. I had a great swim and then fell apart. And it became a thing of survivability and just that whole remaining unbreakable, don't quit mentality, because numerous times I was like, you've already got 2 of these Ironmans. You don't need to finish today. Like, who gives a shit? Stop walking because it's all you're doing. Because I walked 24 of the 26 miles, or at least 23 and a half of them. And so numerous times I thought to myself, I was like, you don't need this. You already got 2 of these medals. You got the tattoo, but it's that whole unbreakable mindset of just don't quit and keep grinding. And I know that, during the course of Ironman, there's numerous times where you're like, I just want to take my bike and throw it in a dumpster,
Yeah.
or put a for sale sign on it out here. Somebody will buy this thing, or on the run that you're just not feeling it. It's a long day, and there's times where it breaks you down.
Yeah, and that loop on that run when you go to do the turn by the finish line is terrible. Whose ever idea that was is extremely cruel.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the 13.1 mile marker is in the finish lane. Like, you can see the finish line. People are finishing.
Yeah, people are finishing.
And they're like, nope, not you. You need to go to the left and go around again. And you're like, oh, are you kidding me? It's
like,
right
you
there.
know you have to, because, you're not going to cheat yourself. So you got another loop, but it's right there. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's some mental stuff. Ironman does a good job.
Yeah.
All right, Dad, tell us about your journey and how much you hate hills and how that went. Because you had a great swim. You swam way faster than you expected to swim.
Yeah, my swim was good. I got out of the water an hour and 27, so that was really good. That's about what, I figured an hour 30 or so. Then the bike did good on the first loop, real good on the first loop. The second loop, the last 2 hills got to me. I had to really suck it up.
But you didn't walk.
Well, maybe a little bit.
You did get off the bike and walk?
I didn't really walk the hill. I got off the bike once, rested, and
then got back on.
Got back on. Okay.
Yeah.
The last hill, probably the last 20 feet.
Yeah.
But it was about saving something for the run, getting to the end.
What did What did it feel like when you got onto the run? Did you think that there was a chance you'd be able to run any of it?
Yeah, I ran down State Street the first time, and the first mile or so, and I got going. I thought, well, if I want to finish this, I have to slow down, get my walk pace in, and just speed walk it. And that's I did the whole rest, probably the last 25 miles, just speed walking.
Yeah, and you were speed walking pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my marathon time was exactly. I think probably around 6:15, 6:30, maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, you had a a little over 15-hour marathon or Ironman.
Yeah, and I was figuring 15 hours and was a little over, but that was good. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew I was going to finish the whole while because the walk was not about. Well, I was getting to the finish line.
Yeah. And you knew you had the cushion now in time that you could actually walk
I
to
went
the
fast
finish
enough
line.
on the bike that I had 8 hours to do the marathon, so that was enough cushion that I couldn't make it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's when I got off the bike. I mean, I knew myself, like, my guts are wrecked, but we're gonna try and run. And I got the first 2 to 3 miles, and then I was like, "That's a walk fest from here because I'm puking everywhere." So, and that's how it went down. It wasn't pretty, but what's it like when you round that corner, the final corner, and you hear the crowd?
That's the best because you know you got one uphill half mile to go up
Yeah.
State Street, which ain't really uphill, but it's a little bit. And
Because you can see the Capitol and
you
can
see
hear
the
crowd
Capitol. You know, you
already.
just got to go around the Capitol, and the people are waiting for you. And
Makes it easy, especially too when
Yeah.
you turn down the finishing chute and you can see all the bright
Yeah.
lights flashing and cameras going.
and then you got to
people-
run down the finishing chute. There's no
Yeah.
chance you can walk that.
Yeah, it's a humbling place because you finally see, you know, for some years and years of work, you know, or at least months of work to get to that point. And so the one thing that people don't ever see, and what Daniel and I were talking about this morning, is that journey. And it's a long journey to Ironman, and it's important to remember the early mornings and late night workouts that got you to the Ironman. And that's what makes it easier to stay motivated, stay going into finishes, because you know how much time you have invested into trying to get this far. And that makes a big difference. So real quick on the famous questions, describe what it means to you through the process that you guys just went through to be unbreakable now, or that no quit mentality.
Well, I knew when I got into this, I wasn't going to quit. I was going to finish. That was priority one, whether I had to walk, run,
Yeah.
whatever it took to get to the finish line, I was finishing. So that's why all the early mornings, 4 a.m. swims and bikes, and the late night bikes and swims and stuff, it all paid off. The training was good, and there's things I would change if I did it again, but
Yeah. I got a lot of things I would like to change from yesterday.
Really, for me, it's just kind of setting your goals as high as you want and determining how bad you want it, which in this case was didn't want anything more for the last 8 to 9 months, and just putting everything I had into it and just putting in the work and getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely being told I couldn't do it. That was the first and foremost thing, and then secondly, just knowing what I've come from. You know, like I said earlier in our podcast in the beginning of the year, was smoking cigarettes a pack a day, like a year ago.
Yeah.
To completing an Ironman is insane to me. I feel much better, healthy, and to have never swam, bike, or run till
Yeah.
this last year. Like I started in April training.
Yeah.
So I mean, 5 months of training, and I managed to complete an Ironman.
No, exactly. It makes you wonder what you could do, you know, after 2 years of focus.
For sure, it feels really good, and you know, I'm gonna keep at it. I love it. I mean, I love the biking. I love the running. I don't love the running. I love the biking and swimming. I don't mind them.
Yeah.
But the running sucks. I mean,
don't
I'll
think
never
anybody
like.
likes the running. My
Yeah.
dad's favorite thing is probably the run
Yeah.
until today.
It was pretty amazing coming up State Street though, with all them people, the crowd under the lights. I mean, that motivated me even more to just finish out the run hard there.
Yeah, because you ran in the last full mile.
Yeah, for sure. And my son was watching me on the tracker, and he's like, "Man, you were putting it down there." I was like, "Dude, when you have all them people around and like screaming and hollering at you,
It gets easier.
like there's no way you're walking that. You're running that, and
Yeah.
and you're finishing hard because you want to be done. First off, you want to be done with it, And second off, you want to feel that accomplishment of completing it.
No, exactly.
So it was good.
It's awesome.
And then he actually said to me too, he's like, I can't believe you did this. And I was like, yeah.
Now you got to get
'Cause
him
you
to
don't-
go out and do
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, definitely. He's
That's
got to
the
challenge
next
me. He's got to challenge my time, you know?
Yeah, that's the next thing. That's what, with my dad, it was the father-son thing. Like, eventually, because I told him in 2013, I was like, you need to do one of these. Like, this is the most remarkable thing. And he's like, I'm never doing an Ironman. I can't swim. Can't swim. In 2016, I did it, and he hired a swim coach and learned how to swim, and now had a great swim. 10 minutes faster than you expect to swim. So,
Yeah, I got to give you mad props for helping me on my swim. I didn't hire a coach or nothing.
Yeah.
It was basically just meeting you in the early mornings.
Yeah, you came a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen, you catch on, and you execute on what you're told. So
Yeah.
it makes it easier.
It was the same with the swimming, showing up in board shorts and the
And
bike.
no goggles.
Yeah, no goggles, and then the bike showing up with tennis shoes and
Yeah.
gym shorts.
Yeah, we were like, me, Bruce, and Bobby were all like, Daniel, you need to go spend some money on bike gear. You need
Yeah.
bike shoes, bike pedals.
I think I might have
You-
puked too on that bike,
Yeah.
that first one.
You need all that stuff. A little background noise with the phone ringing. It's all good. So the last question then, what's next? Now that you've done an Ironman, what's next?
Man, so before I completed it, I thought maybe I'll do another one. Then once I got into it, I was like, I'm never doing another one. And once I completed it, I'm like, maybe I'll do another one. So your mind goes all over the board. But I'm going to stick with the biking and the swimming and maybe a little bit of running.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll probably do another one. I want to beat my time, obviously, now. I was proud with what I had. I was hoping for around 15 hours. I got 14 and a half.
Yeah,
So
no, you killed it.
that was huge. Definitely probably going to do another one.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I've got to do another one.
It'll probably be
my
all with you guys
performance.
doing Mount Treblanc. Yeah.
Good, yeah. All right, Phil, what's next?
So definitely this week, the what's next is Oreos and lots of Patron. That's all I plan on doing. But I mean, we got a couple of little races coming up at the end of the year here. Just small little duathlons, and we've got a half marathon in a couple weeks. But then we're gonna do the 50-mile run in Antelope Canyon.
Yeah,
Knock that
just getting
ridiculous
after
thing
it.
because running's my least favorite, so we might as well do that.
Yep, you
Might
get
as
better
well.
at running.
Yeah, there's only one way, and that's my weakest thing. If I do that, I could really knock out some crazy times on Ironman. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
then you got to do another Ironman.
Yeah,
See where you're at.
it'll happen. Probably not next year. Maybe in 2 years.
Good. All right, Dad, what's next?
I have nothing really on the calendar. I know we're doing the rock and roll half marathon in DC in March next year. Otherwise, I really have nothing. Probably Cellcom again.
Yeah, another full.
Another full.
Add that to the list. You gonna do a full Ironman again?
I don't know if I'll ever do a full again. I'll do halves.
heard him say that many times.
I'll do halves, but I say that every time. And 2 weeks later, I'm signing up for something.
Yep. Welcome to the stupid.
If we can find a flat Ironman bike course.
Yeah. I don't know if they can find 112 miles that's flat. I mean, unless they let you map the course. And then it'd be the flattest course I've ever been on. That'd be awesome. We should reach out to Ironman with that. All right, everybody, that's all we got for you from this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the pre and post Ironman. Thanks for supporting all of us throughout that journey. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, finishers right here, baby.
Finishers, that's absolutely right. Stay unbreakable, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.